Welcome back to Up at Noon. I'm Brian, that's Max, and this is Anthony Ingruber.
Hello.
Welcome to Up at Noon.
Hi, thanks, guys.
Welcome to America. You're tired, right?
No,
Jet lagged?
Well, yeah.
You're hiding it very well.
No, it's okay. I might collapse after this, but so far it's all good.
Excellent. So you are the Joker in Telltale's new Batman, or new take on Batman.
That's right.
Playing alongside Troy Baker, who previously played the Joker. This is a very tangled family tree, but I love it.
Is that awkward? Like, is that weird?
Oh, it's incredibly intimidating, just because Troy Baker's. I consider him, the Leonardo DiCaprio of voice acting. And
Yep.
He was one of the primary inspirations for me to play, to become a voice actor. And knowing that he was playing Batman and he'd already played Joker so great in Arkham Origins, that was. Yeah, it was. It added an extra layer of anxiety to playing the Joker, but yeah, it's been amazing to share screen time with him.
So the Joker, obviously, far and away Batman's most infamous villain. People love him despite the fact that, like, at his best, he's this sort of comical, slightly dangerous clown. At his worst, he's an absolute psychopath. Right. And we've seen many takes on that character throughout the years. How did you kind of carve yours in the midst of, so many high-profile people have taken this on, everyone from Jack Nicholson to Mark Hamill. Where do you find your Joker in this?
Yeah, well, that was the tricky thing, is that I found out months after we wrapped season 1 how I actually got the job, and Telltale had seen a video I'd put on YouTube when I was a teenager doing impressions of Jack Nicholson, Mark Hamill, and Heath Ledger. So I do the so gentlemen, that's how it is. Until Grissom surfaces, I'm the new acting president. And then I did, oh, you look nervous. Is it the scars?
Oh my God.
I want to know how I got him. I usually grab the person, but I'm not going to do that right now.
Right, you can grab him.
Yeah.
Don't grab me.
And then of course, what? Meatloaf again? Oh, I had it for lunch. Isn't Hazel here a cutie? True, she's a real hoe buddy, but you can't help who you fall in love with.
God, that's
so
awesome.
I did like this whole thing of my childhood. So that was there. And Telltale saw that, and they said, well, if he can do those guys, what could he come up with for himself? Because I'm a huge Batman fan, just a big nerd in general.
Right.
And so it was really, I had a whole plethora of things to take, but I approached it more that if this was a live action Joker, and not to do an impression, like try not to lean in one way or the other, but still try to honor those things that inspired me to become the Joker. So try to create a voice that is reminiscent of all three. And then the curveball that they threw at me was that I wouldn't be playing the Joker, I'd be playing John Doe.
Right.
And I didn't know that until I walked into the studio.
Oh, wow, okay.
So I rehearsed this thing, firstly as Mark Hamill, because I thought that's the voice they wanted, because I didn't know which one they leaned on. Because I auditioned with 4 takes. I did Jack, Mark, Heath, and my creation. And then I walked in the studio thinking, okay, it's going to be Mark Hamill. So, but then they were like, no, we liked what you did before, but we want you to dial everything back. Like the laugh, everything, because he's going to be medicated and he's pretending to be sane, like he's tricking everybody. So I figured that when he's talking to the doctor, Dr. Leland, he's doing an impression of what he thinks a charming person sounds like. So I'm like, okay, Dean Martin. So I thought, I was like, oh, hey Doc, how are you? So there's like a little bit of that in there, and then the only time he's talking to Bruce and stuff, you see that mask slip. So it was really cool, but also very challenging to try to incorporate all those different things into.
Right. That sounds a lot like the Frank Miller Dark Knight Returns Joker.
Yeah, and that's actually my favorite comic book of the Joker. But this one, I'm not sure if he's genuinely cured or not, because it seems like season 2, you'll see him come to Bruce and he really opens up. And I think for the first time ever, Bruce is the one person that he trusts to share himself with a little bit. And you see a very vulnerable Joker, and which was very, very interesting to see because, as you say, he's usually the psychopath or the jester, and Telltale is really putting a spin on everything. And
I was going to say, in the way Telltale crafts their stories is that, you know, one of my favorite things about playing their games is that like we have these office cooler conversations about where certain characters ended up and how some characters sort of are consistently angry or disappointed with you while others aren't. And in this game, you're going to sort of shape your Joker, which means that you had to kind of, I assume, like play varying degrees and diagonals of what this one character could be.
Yeah, I mean, like, perfect example is for the trailer, I recorded just 4 lines, and I thought I'd be in there, you know, done. It took 2 hours, you know, because they wanted me to read every line either neutral, like almost the way I'm speaking to you now, and then just a pure monster, you know, and then they would sort of say, like, juggle it around and play with it. So, and this is my first voice acting job. If you look at me up on IMDb, it's like the Age of Adeline and then Joker.
That's interesting.
So it's very intimidating to play a character this. I'm not playing, you know, security guard number 1. You know,
Bob the Goon.
That would be great. But I actually do play a thug in episode 1. I was like, can I do this voice? So I threw that in there.
Yeah.
But sorry.
When you're like acting this, when you're in the studio, obviously there are so many branching paths. Do you have an idea of where things are going or the context or anything?
Everything that I expect Telltale will do with this character, they do it the opposite. So everything, because they really don't want to tell the same thing over and over again, because this character is 70 years old, and we have seen so many versions of this character. So they say, like, what's been done before, and let's try to do something new, but still give the option of that branch. So depending on the player's interactions with John, he'll become a psychopath, or he'll be, you know, your relationship will change. Like, you'll craft the kind of Joker you want to see. Which I think is really interesting.
Yeah, I was going to say I really love reading up on just the relationship that Telltale had with DC on this, where DC was kind of just like, make your story.
Yeah.
Like, go out there, go nuts, like do different stuff, try new things. And we're in this, you know, we are in the 3rd or 4th or 5th current iteration of a reboot of Batman the movie, heading into whatever Ben Affleck's going to do. There's like comics going on at the same time. His back's been broken. He's come back to life. All these other things have happened. We've had different people take on the cowl, and then Telltale comes in and they're like, we have this version. So I think it's really cool that with all of that, you can be like, I bring in shades of other Jokers, but then there's also
there is the thing, and also coming as an impressionist, that is really the siren song of, you know, should I just, you know, but I try actively not to do that, although I sometimes have to catch myself, like I'll be like, hello Bruce, oh shit, you know, and so I have to be like, oh, what was the voice that I came up with, like that's the
So we actually have a clip of, this is from the game. It's obviously, you know, contextually, we're not going to spoil anything. We don't even know if you'll actually find this yourself when playing.
This maybe is spoilers, depending how you...
I'll just have to set this up, actually. What you're going to see now is very chopped up to avoid spoilers, and this is several choices you can make made into one cinematic, so the emotions are going to run the gamut a little bit.
Remix.
Yeah, it's gonna be like, wow, he's pissed. Oh no, he's happy. But it gives a little bit of a showcase of what the Joker is like, because we tried really hard not to spoil anything for the player.
Excellent. Well, let's take a look.
I need that favor you owe me. See, I met some inspiring people out here, made some new friends. They remind me of you. Of your father. Maybe you will meet them for me, won't you? Please? I've got a lot writing on this.
Maybe try my secretary.
You know, I spoke so highly of you. I told them you'd fit right in. I've got this enemy. Calls himself the Riddler.
How do you know the Riddler?
Know him? I want to rip his eyeballs out.
If I were you, I'd stay away from Riddler, John. He's dangerous.
Well, you don't have to tell me twice, buddy boy.
I'll do you that favor you asked for, John. Okay? Just tell me what you know about the Riddler.
I knew this would work out. I want to commemorate the moment. Thank you, Bruce. That's a good one. Look, I think I outstayed my welcome here. I'm just gonna slip away. Excuse me. Sorry.
Even in wow.
God is talking to me.
Yeah.
That wasn't a good
Man,
sound.
that was a good
Yeah.
noise right there. That was Bane. Even in the most subtle moments, like he's still kind of a dick, which I love. Like even
Yeah.
just getting up and shuffling.
Yeah,
No, that was a
yeah,
very
it's-
like Tyler Durden. You want the
Yeah,
ass in the
yeah.
crotch kind of moment.
Yeah,
there.
yeah. It was kind of. I see him really as a very snobbish, manipulative guy, but like it's in his personality just to be a bit of a arrogant guy. Like he's just clearly smarter than and better than other people. But I think Bruce is the one person that he finds this attraction to, and he's the one person that he actually cares about, which was really cool. Because the other thing is like the Batman Joker relationship has always been like, you know, I need you, Bruce, like
Yeah.
Batman, you know. But in this one, he cares about Bruce, not Batman that much. So it's interesting that it makes it so much more personal that Batman can't, you know, he can put on a mask and, you know, fight crime and then go home and be the playboy. But, you know, John Doe's going to turn up at his house, you know?
Yeah.
and that leads to a lot of very scary things for the people in Bruce's life,
Right.
you know, like the jealousy factor, like the ex-girlfriend, you know.
God, yeah, that's psychotic. That I feel like that can bubble up to be sort of infinitely more deranged than a lot of the other versions of the Joker we've seen.
I just see it. It adds just a much more personal thing that, you know, Bruce, like he could kidnap Alfred or do something really messed up.
Yeah, it's got this
there.
kind of Kevin Spacey and Seven vibe
Yeah,
to it, where it's like this isn't. Yeah, there's
like
no.
the
There's
stalker
no,
thing, or like
Yeah.
a Fatal Attraction thing.
Yeah.
Like, you know, like, hey, you haven't called me, or something. You know, I just think it'd be.
Yeah, it's also kind of just like a buddy cop situation, you know.
Yeah,
48
that's
hours or something.
Yeah, the other thing I really like is that they're giving the option, at least so far, to be friends with this guy, like take that selfie with him, and I think that
Right.
that's really I think it's very cute, and I don't think that you've really seen a genuinely nice Joker to Bruce.
No,
I don't
no.
think so.
And you also get the feeling that like he's gonna email that photo to like Walgreens or CVS
Yeah.
and print hundreds of them
On the billboard.
Get to
Yeah.
put on like throw blankets.
Yeah, and like
Yeah, yeah.
candle shrines in his basement. Like it's gonna
Yeah.
get sick.
Yeah.
I'm probably just just over hoping for things here, but yeah, I want to see this go weird and crazy.
Yeah, me too.
I like his little purple phone case. by the
Oh,
way.
I think it's
super
great. There's a lot of
Very on
little.
brand.
So obviously this game is episodic, like traditional Telltale stuff. But the first episode is out next week.
On the 8th.
That's right. Yeah, we actually streamed the first 50 minutes of it at IGN. Again, tried to stay away from spoilers. You hadn't showed up yet, so it was nice to have you here today.
No.
We love to do interviews on Up at Noon, and we've done other ones, such as the time we talked to Alan Tudyk, who's a robot in Star Wars and a bunch of Disney men, and Charlton Copley, who played my favorite robot who becomes a gangster, Chappie. Be sure to watch Up at Noon in the future again. Oh. Avatar.